The Forbidden Repair. The Royal Engineering Bay hummed with quiet tension as Kai worked through the night shift, his fingers dancing across holographic schematics that only he could decipher. No one else on the human repair team understood Varelian biotechnology like he did. 3 years of studying their neural interfaces had made him valuable enough to keep alive, but expendable enough to remain invisible. Engineering report for Sector 7, a monotone voice announced over the comm. Kai glanced up, pushing dark hair from his eyes. All systems normal, nothing to report. But something wasn't normal. The diagnostic he'd run on Queen Ira's battlesuit showed deterioration in the neural pathways, microscopic fractures that would eventually cause catastrophic feedback to her central nervous system. "You should report this," Cooper whispered beside him, the older engineer's face pale in the blue light of the consoles. "It's not our problem if their tech fails." Kai shook his head. "If her suit fails, they'll blame us. They always do." What he didn't say was how he had watched Queen Ira during the last inspection parade. How, despite her reputation for ruthlessness, he'd seen hesitation in her luminescent eyes when General Wrath had ordered the execution of 3 humans for alleged sabotage. She had shown mercy instead, sending them to the labor colonies. It wasn't kindness exactly, but it wasn't cruelty either. That night, when the other engineers left for their quarters in the underground human sector, Kai remained. His access card would trigger alarms if he approached the armory, but he had prepared for this. A small device of his own design mimicked the biosignature of a Varelian guard. "This is suicide," he whispered to himself as the armory doors slid open. The battlesuit stood in its charging cradle, a marvel of alien technology. Living metal that bonded with Varelian physiology, enhancing strength while providing a direct neural interface to weapon systems. Its surface shimmered with a deep purple iridescence that matched Queen Ira's skin. Kai placed his tools beside the suit and began his work. His fingers moved with practiced precision, inserting microscopic filaments into the neural relays. He wasn't just repairing the damage, he was improving the design, creating redundant pathways that would prevent future deterioration. "The code architecture is elegant but flawed," he murmured as he worked. "They never considered how human nerve impulses differ from Varelian patterns." Hours passed as he rewrote sections of the interface code, leaving his signature in the quantum patterns. Not vanity, but necessity. If something went wrong, they needed to know who to blame. As dawn approached, he made the final connections, watching as the suit recalibrated itself. The purple glow intensified momentarily, before settling into a steady, healthy rhythm. He gathered his tools quickly, heart pounding. "Who goes there?" a deep voice challenged from the corridor. Kai froze, then slipped behind a storage unit as Commander Rena entered, her ceremonial armor clicking against the polished floor. She inspected the Queen's battlesuit briefly before continuing her patrol. When she left, Kai exhaled slowly. The deed was done. The Queen would live, though she would never know why. He would return to his anonymous existence among the human engineers, carrying his secret like an ember in his chest. But as he slipped from the armory, a security drone captured his image, transmitting it to a database where it would remain dormant until the system detected an anomaly in the Queen's armor. That anomaly would come sooner than he expected. 3 days later, during a diplomatic meeting with the remnants of the human resistance, Queen Iris suddenly stopped mid-sentence. Her eyes widened as a surge of sensation flooded through her neural interface. Not pain, as she had experienced before, but something entirely different. Clarity, strength, and beneath it all, a strange warmth that felt almost like emotion. "Your Majesty," General Wrath inquired, concerned by her sudden silence. Queen Iris straightened, her 7-foot frame imposing in the magnificent purple-hued battle armor. "Continue the negotiations," she commanded, her voice steady despite the turmoil within. That night, as she retired to her chambers and the living metal retracted from her violet skin, she felt its absence more keenly than ever before. Something had changed. Someone had changed it. And she would discover who. Whispers through circuitry. The Revelation Chamber. The Royal Medical Chamber pulsed with frantic energy as Virillian specialists crowded around their fallen queen. Ira lay motionless on the diagnostic platform, her purple skin unnaturally pale. The battlesuit had partially retracted, revealing the neural connection points along her spine that glowed an angry red instead of their usual cool blue. "Her neural system is rejecting the interface," Dr. Chen announced, her voice tight with controlled panic. "It's as if the suit is trying to communicate in a language her body suddenly doesn't understand." General Zrath's massive frame loomed over the medical team. "This is sabotage. Find the human responsible, and I will personally oversee their execution." From the doorway, Kai watched in horror. He understood immediately what had happened. His modifications had integrated too deeply with the Queen's nervous system. When Dr. Chen's diagnostic scans disrupted the quantum signature he'd embedded, the system had initiated a protective shutdown, not recognizing Ira as the authorized user. Only he could reverse it. "I need to see the code architecture," he whispered to Cooper, who had joined him at the entrance to the medical chamber. "Are you insane?" Cooper hissed back. "They'll kill you the moment they realize what you did." Kai's eyes never left the Queen's still form. "They'll kill us all if she dies. You know what happened on Proxima Colony when their leader died." The decision crystallized in his mind. Moving forward with quiet determination, Kai approached the medical platform. "I can help her," he announced. All activity in the chamber froze. Virillian heads turned toward him, expressions ranging from surprise to outrage. "This human claims he can help the Queen," Dr. Chen stated, her scientific curiosity momentarily overriding protocol. General Zrath's massive frame loomed over the medical team. "This is sabotage. Find the human responsible, and I will personally oversee their execution." "Release him," Commander Rena ordered, entering the chamber. Unlike the general, her approach was calculating rather than emotional. "If he can save the Queen, let him try. We can always execute him after." Dropped unceremoniously to the floor, Kai scrambled to the diagnostic console. His fingers flew across the interface as he accessed the battlesuit's programming. "The quantum signature is destabilizing," he explained as he worked. "When your scans interrupted the pattern, the suit initiated a protective lockdown. It doesn't recognize her neural patterns anymore because they've already begun to adapt to my modifications." "Adapted? How?" Dr. Chen asked as she watched his work with intense fascination. "The human nervous system constantly rewires itself, neuroplasticity. I incorporated that principle into the armor's interface. It learns and grows with the user, but it needs to recognize its primary user again." On the platform, Ira's body suddenly convulsed. Alarms shrieked from the monitoring equipment. "We're losing her," one of the medical specialists announced. Kai made a decision that would either save the Queen or ensure his death. He placed his hand directly on the primary interface node of the battlesuit and closed his eyes. "What are you doing?" Zrath demanded. "Reintroducing my signature manually," Kai answered through gritted teeth. "The suit knows me as its programmer. It will accept the Queen again if I tell it to." Pain shot through his arm as the battlesuit's defensive systems recognized the intrusion. But Kai pushed through, mentally projecting the code sequences he had written days before. He hadn't just signed his work, he had poured his understanding, his empathy, his fascination with the Queen into every line of code. Gradually, the angry red glow of the neural interfaces began to shift, first to purple, then to a healthy blue. Ira's breathing stabilized. "It's working," Dr. Chen whispered in astonishment. Kai completed the reset sequence and stepped back, exhausted. "She'll recover now. The interface will remember her again." Before anyone could respond,
Queen Ira's eyes snapped open, but rather than the cold authority they usually projected, they were filled with confusion and wonder. Her gaze fixed on Kai. "You," she whispered. "I felt you, inside my mind." The chamber fell silent. For a Virillian queen to acknowledge a mental connection with a human was unprecedented. "Take him to the holding cells," Commander Rena ordered, breaking the tension. "The queen needs rest, and we need answers." As guards led Kai away, Ira struggled to sit up. "Wait," she commanded, her voice weak but unmistakably authoritative. "I want to speak with him, alone." "Your Majesty, this human has committed treason by tampering with your battlesuit," Zrath protested. "And yet, I live because of him," Ira countered. "Leave us, all of you." Reluctantly, the room cleared except for 2 royal guards stationed at the door. Kai stood nervously before the queen, aware that his life hung by the thinnest of threads. "Why did you do it?" she asked simply. Kai swallowed hard. "Your neural pathways were degrading. Without intervention, you would have suffered progressive nervous system failure within months. That doesn't explain why you, a human engineer, would risk your life to save mine." Her luminescent eyes studied him intently. "We are enemies." "Are we?" Kai questioned softly. "I've been watching you, Your Majesty. You've shown mercy when others demanded blood. You seek understanding where your advisors seek only dominance." A faint smile touched Ira's lips. "You presume to know my mind, human. I've been inside it. The interface doesn't just connect you to the armor, it connects you to the programmer as well. Haven't you felt it? The emotions that aren't quite yours." Her expression changed, recognition dawning. "The warmth, the hesitation when I would normally act without question. That was you?" Kai nodded. "Not intentionally, but creating neural pathways is intimate work. Something of the Creator always remains." She extended her hand, palm up. The gesture was shocking. Virillian royalty never initiated physical contact with humans. "Show me," she whispered. Heart pounding, Kai placed his hand in hers. Immediately, the Virillian battlesuit responded, liquid metal flowing over their joined hands, creating a shimmering bridge between them. Ira gasped as sensation flooded through her. Not just data or thought, but emotion. Kai's fascination, his admiration for a queen he had observed from afar. "This is impossible," she whispered, but didn't pull away. "The technology doesn't care about our species. Neural patterns are neural patterns. Emotions are just electrical impulses, after all." She looked at him with new understanding. "No, they're much more than that, as you well know." Their hands remained joined, the battlesuit humming contentedly between them. For the first time, Ira experienced human emotions directly, unfiltered through prejudice or propaganda. And what she felt shook the foundations of everything she had been taught about humans. "You will continue to work on my battlesuit," she declared finally, "as my personal engineer." "That will cause problems with your court," Kai warned. Ira's expression hardened into the regal mask her people expected. "I am queen. They will accept my decision or face the consequences." As Kai was escorted to new quarters adjacent to the Royal Engineering Bay, neither Kai nor Ira noticed Commander Rena watching from the shadows, her expression calculating. The commander activated her communication device. "General," she whispered, "we have a situation that threatens the very foundation of the Dominion. The Queen has been compromised." Outside the medical chamber, revolution was brewing.
Neural convergence. The royal gardens of Virilia offered rare solitude among crystalline trees that sang softly in the evening breeze. Here, away from prying eyes,
Ira and Kai walked side by side, her towering purple form a stark contrast to his smaller human frame. "The modifications are complete," Kai said, watching as the Queen's battlesuit rippled with newfound responsiveness. "The neural convergence is stronger than I anticipated." Ira extended her hand, and without hesitation, Kai took it. The now familiar sensation of connection bloomed between them as the battlesuit created its bridge. For weeks, these stolen moments had been their sanctuary. "I feel everything you feel," she whispered, her luminescent eyes softening. "It's overwhelming and beautiful." "And dangerous," Kai reminded her. "Commander Reyna has been watching us. I've seen her operatives following me." Ira's expression hardened. "Let her watch. I am queen." "Your people aren't ready to accept a human as your—" Kai paused, uncertain how to define what they had become. "As my what?" Ira asked, stepping closer. The battlesuit hummed, responding to her motions by creating delicate patterns across its surface that mirrored the quickening of her pulse. "As someone important to you," Kai finished. Their moment of intimacy was interrupted by an urgent alert from Ira's communication system. "Your Majesty," General Wrath's voice reported, "the human colonies have mobilized. They're attacking our northern outposts." Ira's expression shifted instantly to the cold mask of leadership. "Prepare my command vessel." As they hurried back to the palace, Kai felt a growing unease. This doesn't make sense. The human resistance leaders were negotiating peace terms. Perhaps they were stalling for time, Ira suggested, though doubt clouded her features. In the command center, chaos reigned. Reports flooded in of human forces striking Virillian outposts with unprecedented coordination. "The attacks began exactly 30 minutes ago," Commander Reyna reported, her gaze lingering suspiciously on Kai, "precisely when you and your human pet were alone in the gardens." "Watch your words, Commander," Ira warned. General Wrath stepped forward. "Your Majesty, we have intercepted communication indicating the human engineer has been providing intelligence to the Resistance. His name appears in their transmission logs." "That's impossible," Kai protested. "I haven't communicated with anyone outside the palace." "The evidence suggests otherwise," Commander Reyna countered, producing a data pad with intercepted messages. "Your signature is unmistakable, the same one found in the Queen's battlesuit." Understanding dawned on Kai. "Someone has copied my signature from the battlesuit code. They're framing me." Ira hesitated, caught between trust and duty. The battlesuit pulsed against her skin, conveying Kai's genuine shock and fear. "Take him to the holding cells until we can verify his claims," she ordered finally. As guards escorted Kai away, he looked back at Ira. "Check the quantum timestamps on those messages. They can't fake that." Left alone with her commanders, Ira faced a critical decision. Trust the connection she shared with a human, or trust her lifelong advisors. "The human resistance must be crushed," General Wrath insisted, "and the traitor executed." Ira closed her eyes, feeling the battlesuit's warmth against her skin. Through it, she sensed echoes of Kai's emotions. Not betrayal, but determination, and something deeper that made her own heart race. "Prepare for battle," she commanded, "but I will interrogate the prisoner myself." In his cell, Kai worked frantically to understand who had framed him. When the door slid open to reveal Queen Ira, her expression unreadable, he stood to face whatever judgment came. Instead of guards, she came alone. "The quantum timestamps were altered," she said quietly. "Someone with access to both my battlesuit and our communication systems did this." "Commander Reyna?" Kai suggested. "She's been suspicious of our connection from the beginning." Ira nodded slowly. "The attack patterns don't match human resistance tactics. They're too precise, too familiar." Their Virillian tactics, Kai realized, meant to appear human. Their eyes met in shared understanding. A conspiracy had been launched, not by humans against Virillians, but by those who feared the connection forming between Queen and Engineer. "What will you do?" Kai asked. Ira's battlesuit rippled, reflecting her resolve. "What we must. Together." She extended her hand once more, and as their fingers intertwined, the battlesuit flowed over both of them, creating a shared neural link stronger than ever before. In that moment of perfect connection, Queen and human stood united against those who would keep their worlds divided by hatred and fear.
Rewired destiny. The Great Assembly Hall of Virelia had never contained such an unlikely gathering. Virillian nobles stood rigid and uncomfortable on one side, while human resistance leaders occupied the other, both groups eyeing each other with generations of distrust. In the center, elevated on the ancient speaking platform, stood Queen Ira and Kai, united despite everything that should have divided them. "Today we face a threat greater than our differences," Ira's voice carried through the hall. "A conspiracy to perpetuate war between our peoples when peace was within our grasp." The evidence against Commander Rena projected above them, intercepted communications, falsified attack orders, and the elaborate scheme to frame Kai using his quantum signature. The commander herself was conspicuously absent, having fled when her plot unraveled. "For too long we have seen each other as enemies," Ira continued, "but through an unexpected connection, I have experienced something revolutionary." The battlesuit at her shoulders shimmered as she spoke, responsive to her emotions in ways that still astonished the Virelian scientists. "I have felt human thoughts, human emotions. I have learned they are not so different from our own." Sarah, now representing the Human Engineering Corps, stepped forward. "We've analyzed the neural interface technology that Engineer Kai developed. Its principles could revolutionize communication between our species, not just for battlesuits, but for genuine understanding." Murmurs rippled through both delegations. General Zrath, still suspicious but loyal to his queen, addressed the assembly. "Commander Rena's forces control 3 orbital platforms," he reported grimly. "She threatens to bombard both Virelian and human settlements if we proceed with this alliance." "Which is why we must act quickly," Kai responded, standing tall beside Ira despite the dramatic difference in their height. "The neural interface technology can be adapted to control the defense grid, but it will require both Virelian and human neural patterns working in concert." Dr. Chen approached the platform, carrying a case containing modified neural connectors. "We've created prototype interfaces based on Kai's design. They will allow limited mental connection between paired users. The science is sound, but untested on this scale." "I will test it," Ira declared, "with Kai." What followed was unprecedented. As representatives from both species watched in tense silence, Ira and Kai were connected through an enhanced version of the neural bridge that had first brought them together. The battlesuit expanded, creating a shimmering field around them both. "I can see through her eyes," Kai whispered, his voice filled with wonder. "And I through his," Ira replied. Together, their minds reached out to the defense grid, using Ira's royal access combined with Kai's understanding of the system's vulnerabilities. On the massive display screens, orbital platforms began to respond, weapons systems powering down as Commander Rena's followers found themselves suddenly locked out. "It's working," Dr. Chen announced, monitoring their neural activity. "The combined patterns are creating a security protocol that neither species could establish alone." In the shared mind space of their connection, Ira and Kai moved as one consciousness, their thoughts and emotions intertwined so completely that species seemed a trivial distinction. What had begun as an unauthorized repair had evolved into something that neither of their worlds had words to describe. "I never intended this," Kai's thoughts whispered through their connection. "Sometimes the greatest changes come from the smallest choices," Ira's consciousness replied. "One repair, one moment of compassion." When they finally disconnected, both swayed slightly from the intensity of the experience. Kai steadied himself against the platform while Ira's battlesuit adjusted, compensating for her momentary disorientation. "The orbital platforms are secure," General Zarath confirmed. "Commander Rena's forces have surrendered." A tentative applause began, first from the humans, then spreading cautiously to the Varelians. It was not enthusiasm so much as relief. The immediate danger had passed. "This is only the beginning," Ira addressed them. "Today we prevented war. Tomorrow we build something new." The following weeks brought rapid change to Varelia. Under Dr. Chen's guidance, modified neural interfaces were created for diplomats from both species. The technology that once powered weapons now facilitated understanding, allowing humans and Varelians to share perspectives directly, bypassing the limitations of language and cultural barriers. In the Royal Gardens, now open to human visitors for the first time in Varelian history, Ira and Kai sat beside the singing crystal trees. Their neural connection had become something deeper with each passing day, a bond that transcended the technology that had created it. "The Council has approved the Joint Settlement Project," Ira said, her voice soft in the twilight. "Humans and Varelians living together, not as rulers and subjects, but as equals." "There will be resistance," Kai cautioned. "Centuries of conflict don't disappear overnight." "No," she agreed. "But we have something they don't." Her battlesuit hummed as she reached for his hand, the now familiar connection blooming between them. "We have this: understanding, empathy, the ability to truly see through another's eyes." Through their connected minds flowed images of possibility, children of both species learning together, shared technologies creating solutions neither could develop alone, the beginning of a society that valued connection over conquest. "When I rewired your battlesuit, I never imagined it would rewire our worlds," Kai said with wonder. Ira's luminescent eyes met his. "Perhaps that's the nature of connection. One small change cascades into many. One repaired circuit becomes a bridge between worlds." As darkness fell over Varelia, the first of the settlement's lights appeared on the horizon, not segregated by species as they had always been, but intermingled, creating patterns as complex and beautiful as the neural pathways that had brought Queen and Engineer together. "There will always be those who fear what we've created," Iris said, thinking of Rena and others like her, still in hiding, still plotting. "And we will face them together," Kai replied, his confidence flowing through their connection. "Not as human and Varelian, but as something new." The battlesuit that once was a symbol of war now pulsed with gentle light, responding to emotions that neither of our species had words to describe. In the quantum code that flowed between them, in the microscopic filaments that connected their thoughts, in the shared consciousness that bridged biological differences, they had created something unprecedented. A connection that transcended the boundaries of flesh and metal, of species and history. A love written in quantum threads, encoded in neural pathways, defying everything that should have made it impossible. As the twin moons rose over Varelia, their light reflected in pools of water throughout the garden, creating countless mirrors of the sky above. In each reflection, Ira and Kai saw not separate futures, but a single path forward, together.